Hey guys, Dr. Isabella here with Renaissance Periodization. Welcome to my office. Yes, that is Majin Vegeta on a background. Excellent. So, talk to you guys a little bit about how to use the auto templates. Here they are. When you purchase the auto templates, you're going to get a file that looks something like this. If you purchase them for cutting, you're going to get a file, and come in and zoom in on this really quick. It's going to have hard days, moderate days, light days, and non-weight training days for your training options. So I'm going to open this up, okay, and we're going to take a look. So you have a diet here, and come in and zoom in on this if you can. There's a baseline diet right there that says base, okay, and there's a cut 1, a cut 2, and a cut 3, and each one of those is going to change the diet somewhat. It actually removes nutrients at various places. So the question is, so for each one of these hard, moderate, light, and off days, you're going to get 4 diets when you purchase these templates: a baseline diet, a cutting 1, cut 2, and a cut 3. So the question is, when do you use which one of these? And let's take a look at how that works. So let's go ahead and focus on this screen right here. If you weigh less than 200 pounds, here are the instructions for template manipulation. You want to measure your body weight about twice a week. Twice a week offers a pretty good advantage, not being too much work. You don't want to measure every day. It gets really boring fast, and it still gives us some good data. Once a week may be a bit too stochastic, too much variation. So measure body weight twice a week. Your base diet is designed to be approximately how many calories you need to maintain your weight. But it's not a guarantee. People have slightly different levels of physical activity, even within the hard, moderate, light system. People have different metabolisms, all sorts of variations. Different days are going to be different hard versus the other kind of hard. So you're going to want to take your base diet, and in order to maintain your weight, you're going to want to adjust your fats by 1 serving at a time. What do I mean by that? Let's take a look at the fats really, really quickly. So we're going to open up our cutting diet here. We're going to have hard days. We have these servings of fat here. So for example, if you have 3 servings of fat at the end of the day here, what you're going to do is you're going to replace that with 2 servings of fat, and that's it. You've subtracted 1 fat out. So if you're a little bit heavy, you're going to subtract 1 fat out of the entire diet of every single possible day, and then see how that goes. If you're still a little bit heavy, your weight is climbing, subtract another fat serving. So 1 fat serving, which is 15 grams of fat, subtracted at a time. That's the instruction for maintaining your baseline diet. So that's how you maintain a base. And after a while, after a couple of weeks, you're going to figure out how many fat servings it takes to get the calories right around where you need them. And look, if the weight is going to move, just move your fat servings with it to adjust. For cutting, if you've purchased the cutting diet, if you're cutting and you're losing less than ½ a pound per week, okay, so every week you're going to have measurements. You're going to have them twice a week, actually. If per week you lost less than 0.5 pounds, that's not fast enough, and you're going to use the next cutting phase. What do we mean by that? Well, it's really simple. You open up the document. You start from cut 1 when you want to cut. All right, so here's cut 1, and you're going to want to switch your diet to cut 2, which radically reduces the fats and a couple of other nutrients. So if you're in cut 1 and you've lost less than ½ a pound of fat, or ½ a pound of tissue, you are going to move to cut 2, and so on and so forth. And let's take a look back at the presentation here. So for cutting, go ahead and focus on that. For cutting, if it's less than 0.5 pounds lost in a week, it's too slow. You're going to want to move to the next more aggressive cut phase. If it's more than 1½ pounds lost, that's too fast. We're risking too much muscle, and you're going to want to use the previous phase. So let's say you were already in cut 2, but now you lost 2 pounds in 1 week. You're going to want to move back to cut 1 to get in that range between ½ a pound and 1.5 pounds per week. That's our best cutting range. For massing, if you lost less if you gained less than 0.5 pounds per week, okay, if you gained almost nothing or 0.3 pounds, you're going to want to use the next most progressive mass phase. You're going to want to use mass phase 2, which is going to add more calories and make you gain faster. On the other hand, if you are gaining more than 1.5 pounds per week, you want to use the previous phase, because anything faster than that for people who weigh 200 pounds or less is going to be a bit too fast, too much fat, not enough muscle. So within these numbers, if you're much closer to the 100-pound mark, use slightly smaller numbers. If you're closer or slightly smaller on this scale, if you're closer to 200 pounds, if you weigh 190, 195, you might want to use numbers maybe a little bit higher than this to keep the optimal gains coming. Let's take a look at how these things differ for people who weigh more than 200 pounds. So our templates range anywhere from 100 to 300 pounds, so half of them are going to be for more than 200 pound people. Still measure body weight twice a week. You adjust your base diet now by 2 fat servings at a time. That's 30 grams of total fat. So if you're losing weight just slightly, but you're trying to maintain on the base diet, you're going to want to increase by 2 fat servings. If you're gaining weight, you're going to want to decrease by 2 fat servings at a time each time you measure per week. For cutting, if it's less than a pound lost per week, you want to use the next phase. That's not fast enough. And if it's more than 2 pounds lost, slightly higher, you're going to want to use the previous phase. We want that nice middle ground of slow and steady fat loss to occur. For massing, if you've gained less than a pound in a week, you're going to want to use the next phase to have more calories so you can gain faster, but no faster than 2 pounds per week, because that's too fast. Too much fat results, not enough muscle, and then you're going to have to burn that fat off later, and it's a huge pain in the butt. So that's how the templates work. When you get the templates, you're going to have all of your diets prescribed for you. There's a base, cut 1, cut 2, cut 3. If you want to take a look at the masses really quick, pretty straightforward. Let's find out where those are. Those are purchased separately. If we have a mass phase, you have a base. Do you want to zoom in on this really quick? We have a base diet, we have a mass 1 diet, a mass 2 diet, and a mass 3 diet. And the more weight you need to gain to keep that rate of gains coming, like we just talked about, you switch from mass 1, mass 2, and mass 3. If you can't gain on mass 3, you're in, that's a whole lot of food, so you've outdone Renaissance, and we're very impressed. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and hopefully you enjoy the templates.